Senate President Kay Forbes Smith took students down memory lane today, reflecting on 52 years of majority rule. A special assembly took place today to mark the occasion. Smith encouraged students to keep in mind, "My country's future depends on me." While speaking to the life of the country at a time that majority rule was being framed, one where women had limited rights, she gave this reflection and advice.
Women were not the movers and shakers in our community at that time as we are now. They were not leading in key positions in our country as we are now. Women couldn't vote and could not afford the opportunity to do the things we often take for granted today. You have no idea the joy it brings to see a Bahamian woman sing about our attitude and perform all around the country. Because there was a time when women and black people were treated as second-class citizens. So sitting in the very seat you are in today was a privilege. Attending high school was not an option for many of your great-grandparents because of an application process versus a mandatory privilege to free education. So the next time you are tempted to duck school, cheat your way through a test, or fall asleep on your guest speaker, remember that someone fought for that seat you are sitting in today.
Well, the Senate president also noted that women aided in the fight to gain majority rule. She explained ultimately how the country's leaders came together to accomplish that goal.
In 1967, Sir Randall Fox won the only seat for the Labour Party as their leader, and therefore was given the opportunity by the leader of the then opposing party, the UBP, to name his terms. He could have asked for any large amount of money that he wanted because everyone knew the party he decided to stand beside would be the party that would have majority control in the House of Assembly by breaking the tie. Sir Lyndon and the Bahamian Party didn't have money or the clout to compete with what was said Sir Randall Fox was being offered by the opposing party. However, Sir Randall had no terms. He didn't accept a dime from the UBP from what was said. He decided to go with the Bahamian people and the country, providing a 19-18 lead for the Progressive Liberal Party. This lead was now so devastating that the UBP representatives resigned, truly giving the Bahamian people the majority rule of the Bahamas.
500 students from the C.V. Bethel Senior High School heard a similar story today. This account from Senator Jamal Moss. At a special assembly commemorating the occasion, Senator Moss told students that the Bahamas entered an era of national development, freedom, and social justice, and that now it's their turn to protect it.
Majority rule removed the last psychological shackles of slavery from the minds of many by shattering false notions of superiority and subservient. He said, and I quote, "Majority rule initiated the fulfillment of the promise of universal access to education. It created the foundation upon which to build a society with opportunity for all. It unleashed the hitherto brutally suppressed but powerful entrepreneurial instincts of a people. It freed many Bahamians from the fear of one another because of differences of color or ethnic origin. It opened the possibilities of fully sharing and nationalizing a rich and diverse cultural heritage, and it held forth the promise of a new kind of political culture in which no Bahamian would ever again be made to suffer for exercising his or her right to free association."
Senator Moss also used the opportunity to remind students of the value of education.
Education for black majority was not a priority for the ruling oligarchy, and so access to secondary and tertiary education was severely limited. And you know, before my time, and I'm sure before your time, you didn't notice, but persons who left school before us had to leave school at the age of 14 and 15. So we have a lot to be thankful for. After majority rule was achieved, education became a top priority and the doors were opened for Bahamians to serve secondary and tertiary education at home. So please, don't take your education lightly. Value it. And if you don't, get serious. The world is changing. I want you to cherish your education because the road to majority was a struggle, and there were several important events that led to the achievement of this proud landmark in the Bahamian history.
Well, students from the Doris Johnson Senior High School heard from Senator Fred Mitchell. He traced the struggle which led to majority rule and spoke about the key players who worked in the trenches to usher in a new era in the country, which resulted in equal voting opportunities for all.
By the time the 10th of January 1967 came, this was the first time that elections were held in the Bahamas based on one person, one vote. So if you were female before 1962, you could not vote in this country. It was 133 years between the abolition of slavery and the 10th of January 1967. For the first time, African-descended people were able to run the government of the country.
Now, Senator Mitchell also encouraged youngsters to take advantage of all opportunities which are presented to them, especially those in education.
The socio-economic opportunities are open to all Bahamians. That is why Sir Arthur Folkes has written this view. And he says that the great significance of 1967 was that after years of struggle by many progressive persons and groups, the back of the old oligarchy was finally broken and real democracy came to the Bahamas.
At the C.C. Sweeting High School, Senator the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis gave students a history lesson. She talked about what it was like before the events of majority rule and, in her own words, shared why the day is so unique.
Story of history of events that acted like a domino effect, that woke up a fearless spirit in many of our forefathers and foremothers who took a stand in the quiet revolution to bring an end to many of the injustices we face.
The senator encouraged students to celebrate the significance of the day and the strides made over the last 52 years.
It freed many Bahamians from the fear of one another because of the differences of color or ethnic origin. It opened the possibility of fully sharing and nationalizing a rich and diverse cultural heritage, and it held forth the promise of a new kind of political culture in which no Bahamian would ever again be made to suffer for exercising his or her free association.